So she makes her a penis flower diamond art. Fantastic. Like, why can't my grandma do that to me? I'm just saying. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie, and in today's video, I just wanted to talk about some books that I've read this year that I have absolutely loved, okay? So this is not like an extensive list of like every book that I've read this year because I just didn't feel like doing that. But these are the books that either I haven't talked about yet on my channel, or I've talked only about them in like wrap-ups, and I want to just like tell you guys about them, recommend them to you, because I'm pretty sure every one of these was a 5-star. It was either like a 4.5 or a 5-star. So I'm going to start with the book that kind of prompted this whole video. And you're going to hear this a lot in this video about why did I put off reading this book or this author. So first off, I want to talk about Fragile Sanctuary by Catherine Cowles. Now, if you're not new to this channel, or if you are new to this channel, I don't know why I always put off Catherine Cowles. Okay, I do know why. I'm just trying to like justify it in my brain. So when I hear people hype up a book or an author, I'm very much like, no thanks. Because it's either, I mean, yeah, the book and the author could be great, or it's just people jumping on the bandwagon to be like, oh yeah, this book is great. So I have never read a Catherine Cowles. Not in my life. I own the books. They're behind me. I own like the whole Tattered and Torn series, you know, never read them. However, once I saw that she was starting with a new series and I wouldn't have to go back and like backlist it, I was like, okay, let's just request an arc and see what happens. So I requested the arc for Fragile Sanctuary. I read it and I fell in love. Okay, I understand. I understand the hype that is Catherine Cowles. I loved this book. I don't know what she put in it. I don't know. Crack maybe? I don't know, but I read it and I loved it. So let's talk a little bit about it. So this book, we are following Anson and Rhodes. Rhodes, in the prologue, she ends up going through a trauma that leaves her having to live with her best friend Fallon and her family. And in this family, there's like a bunch of like, they're not all blood related, but her mom's a foster mom. So like Fallon's mom brings in a whole bunch of people. And one of her brothers is, what's his, Shep. And then Shep has a best friend as they get older in the present named Anson. And that is the hero of our stories. Anson is an ex-FBI profiler that he had something terrible happen to him and he just could not keep doing the job. So he moves to Sparrow Falls to kind of get away from everything. And he works construction with Rhodes' brother. Rhodes is trying to redo and renovate a home in town. And of course, he's on the construction team. So they are kind of like forced together a lot. This is definitely Grumpy Sunshine. He is grumpy and she is like, she loves flowers, she loves color. She even always talks to him about like, you have no color in your life. All you drive a black truck, you wear black, you wear gray. So it's the Grumpy Sunshine. It is brother's best friend. There is a serial unaliver in this book. So it is romantic suspense. It's touch her and die vibes. The side characters, I cannot wait for the other books. I cannot wait for the other books. And her grandma, if you love like nosy little grandmas, you're going to love her. You're going to love her because, oh my gosh, her grandma, her grandma loves making diamond art. So she makes her a penis flower diamond art. Fantastic. Like, why can't my grandma do that to me? I'm just saying. This book, I loved this book. 5 stars. Like, he gives her a nickname. He calls her Reckless because like she's just one to like do what she needs to do, you know, whatever, without really talking to people. So he always calls her Reckless. I loved this book. now I need to go back and read the other Catherine Cowles because I am kicking myself for not reading her book sooner. It was so good. If you haven't read it yet, it just came out. Go read it. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is a new book from Piper Rain, and this one is The One I Left Behind. This is book 1 in the Plain Daisy Ranch series. This is a new small town series that Piper Rain is bringing out. In this book, we are okay, so there's technically a prequel novella that you can read. It's on Kindle, and it's like 50 pages, and it's called One Last Summer. And it gives you a little backstory of the characters that are going to be in book 1. You don't have to. Like, you can go into book 1 and not read it, but I did just to kind of get an idea. It's basically his last day, the hero's last day in town before he goes off to college to play football. So that's the little prequel. Okay. Then we get into the main book, and it is 14 years later from the prequel, and he is coming home. He is retired from being a professional football player, and he has not spoken to the heroine since they broke up, like a couple months after he left to go to college. So we are following Bennett, and we are following Jillian. And Bennett comes home. He's like all set to like get back into the ranch life, and he is still so smitten with Jillian. It's not even funny. It's not even fun. He is still so in love with her, and she is too, but at the same time, she's also a single mother now to a 14-year-old boy. And it's not the hero's, even though the time, it's like he left 14 years ago, and no, her child is not his. But she still very much loves him as well, but she is scared to get hurt. So it takes some time for them to develop anything, but not too long. But it's still like a process of her trusting him again. And the side characters in this book, I cannot wait for he's got 2 other brothers, and they're getting books. So excited for that. I loved the found family of this. I loved just the whole like side characters. That's what makes a small town romance to me. It's like the characters, like the side characters in the books, because they're a hoot, and I love them. And then I always know that they're going to get their own books. But so basically they are kind of like forced into like dealing with their stuff because he becomes the interim coach for the football team at the high school, and her son is on the football team. So there's just a lot of stuff going on. Still, 5 stars. I loved this book. I loved the cover. These covers are gorgeous, and I just saw the one for the next book, and I'm pretty sure the next book also has the cover out yet. They're gorgeous. Gorgeous. But also, if you've never read Piper Rain, do yourself a favor and read it. The spicy scenes are spicy, but there's not like a whole lot that takes away from the plot. So good. So good. Okay, the next book is from another author that I've been putting off forever because that's the story of my life. So the next book is Always Mine by Laura Pavlov. Okay. I don't know why I was putting off reading Laura. I don't know why, because I own the whole Honey Mountain. I own all of Cottonwood Cove, and I have the first book in the Magnolia Falls. I buy the books and I don't read them. It's a sickness. But I finally started reading her, and I loved this book. This is Friends to Lovers, which isn't always my cup of tea. Just so you know. It's like, unless it's Penelope and Colin, then yes. But other than that, it's like, it's fine. But so in this book, we are following Vivi. Vivi has 5 sisters. She's one of 5, I think, because each sister has a book. And she, at the beginning of the book, she gets a wedding invitation from her ex, who she found cheating on her. Weirdest thing, don't know why you would do that, but okay. And her best friend, Nico, is a firefighter, and her dad is the chief of the fire department, I guess. And they've been friends since about kindergarten. And he's known as the town player, and she is known as the good girl, one person at a time, don't hook up, all that stuff. And she's like, you know what? I think I need to spread my wings and just have some fun and no strings attached with anything. And he's like, okay. And then she's like, you should help me do it. And he's like, no. Well, she's like, okay, I'll just go find someone who can. And then when she says that, he's like, oh, no, no, pump the brakes. If anyone's going to get to be with this, it's going to be me. So they start off this friends with benefits that just develops into more. And I loved it. And I'm so upset that I did not read this sooner. This is just, the whole video is me like yelling at myself for not reading books sooner. But honestly, loved it. Can't wait to read more. I'm so excited. Everyone can kick me for not reading this sooner. Plus he is long hair. And was he tatted? I can't remember, but he's got a niece in this book, and his niece and him have such a great relationship, and he's just so cute. Oh, loved it. Love it. Small town. Loved it. Okay, the next book I want to talk about is Where We Started by Ashley Munoz. This is book 1 in the Stone Riders Motorcycle Club series. I love this book. I read this book with Paige for our book club. We both absolutely loved it. She has now gone on and read the other books in the series. And if you know me, it takes me forever to read series. So like I started, I will eventually get to the other books. But this one we are following Callie and Wes. They met when they were very young, I think like 9 and 10. And so her dad was the president of the motorcycle club. And she just could not stand the parties and everything that was going on. So she would like sneak in to Wes's treehouse at night just to sleep. And one night he sees her, and then they develop a friendship, and he like starts bringing her like sleeping bags and food and all this stuff. And it's just so cute. And then we go years later, and Callie is coming back into town for her father's funeral. And little does she know that her boyfriend from when she was younger is now the president of the motorcycle club. So, and not only that, but her father left her the property where the motorcycle club's like headquarters is, and pretty much he's told her to sell it. So what's she gonna do? What's she gonna do? I'm not telling you, you gotta read the book. But it's great. Second chance, motorcycle. It's not too heavy on motorcycles, so if you've never read one, but you've always thought about it, start with this series because it's very light on the motorcycle club stuff. But the spice, yes, sir. Great book. Loved the book. Loved the side characters. Need to go on, but just haven't yet. It's a thing. Okay. Okay. This is another book that I can't believe I kept putting off. It's the theme. The Mind F series by S.T. Abbey. I read this in February, and I absolutely love this series. I love this. Don't know why I put it off for so long. So this is the omnibus, actually, omnibus, whatever. And this is from Mystic Box. I bought this before I read the book, but I'm so glad I did. I'm so glad I did that to myself. Thank you. So in this book, we are following Lana, and Lana is a serial unaliver. Okay, she's going around seeking revenge on those who have done her and those that she loved wrong in the past, and she is good at her job. Okay, so one day she is getting coffee and she meets Logan. Logan's a nice guy, you know. Logan's cute. Logan is nice, and Logan just happens to be an FBI profiler who has been profiling this serial unaliver who's been going around hurting these people, unaliving these people. So you're asking yourself, coincidence? I wonder who's he going after. Yeah, he's going after Lana. He's trying to find Lana, okay? And that's pretty much the basis of this story. Check your triggers if you have any, because this is dark, okay? This is 5 novellas. And like each one is a little over 100 pages, except for like the last 2 books or so. And then it's like 170, 60, 50, something like that. But this is the ultimate good for her. And I really was like, what, how is this going to end? Because he is Mr. FBI and she is Mrs. Unalive. So, HEA, how's it going to happen? I'm so sad that the author is no longer with us and can't write anymore, because I would have loved for them to continue just with other books. But if you've been thinking about reading this book and you're like, I don't think it's for me, just do it. Just try it. Just try. It's such an easy read. I mean, yeah, the stuff in here is like horrible that what happened, but like, oh, this is such a Criminal Minds episode. And I just got to think of Spencer Reid the whole time I was reading this. And to me, there is nothing greater than getting to think about Spencer Reid, like, for a full book, okay? So good. So fantastic. I love this book. Oh my gosh, I love this book. But I don't know if I love it as much as I love this one. Okay, the last book that I want to talk about, no one talks about, and it makes me so upset that no one talks about this book. I have seen 2 channels talk about this book. I have seen Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl talk about it because I got the recommendation from her, and then I saw Bestie Book Reviews talk about it because I told them that they needed to read it. So, Maestro by Auden Dar. If you are looking for the angstiest book of your life, read this. If you're looking for a book that's going to wreck you and make you feel, I just spit. That was fantastic. I hope you didn't see that. But if you want a book that's going to make you cry, that's going to want to make you throw it, that's going to want to make you throw up and scream, this is it. Okay, this is, oh my gosh, I love this book. So I read this in February for Paige and I's book club. This was a 5 stars. We both loved it. It's a big one, but it's so worth it. It's so worth it. So in this book, we are following Chadwick and, oh my gosh, I cannot ever say her name. Aurelia, something like that. And when this book starts, they're both 13 and they're auditioning for this prestigious, like, performing arts school in New York City. Chadwick is kind of a prodigy. He's been playing like violin since he's been like 3. He comes from like a long line of maestros, and he's like a shoo-in for this school, okay? Aurelia, not so much. And he gives her a little bit of advice for her audition, and she takes it, and they both get in, and that kind of just sparks up a friendship, and they remain friends until about 17, and then feelings develop, and that turns into more until life decides to right on that. Life is like, not today, Satan. So they don't get to be together. And it goes from there. We see them at different points in their life. This spans 20 years. So the book ends when they're about like 33, 34. And life's just like, here's the carrot. I mean, forget you. You don't get the carrot. Here's the carrot. You don't get the carrot. And if you just love the angst of right person, wrong time, life interferences, life circumstances, read this book. I'm just telling you, everyone needs to, this is going to be a top, if not the top book of the year for me. Just read it. Just read it. It was on Kindle. I don't know if it still is or not, but like, I know it's big, but it's worth it. Read it and then come back and tell me that I was right. Because you can't tell me that I was wrong, because I will not hear it, okay? This book, no criticism, okay? So, please, do yourself a favor, read this book. If anything, read it for the cover, because that's our hero right there, okay? Read it for the cover. Okay, so those are the books that, so far, I mean, I've read other books, but these are the ones that stand out. These are the ones that I still think about daily. Because, you know, you read some and then you read some and these were my So, yeah. Let me know down below what your top reads of the year so far are. I would love to know. Or if you want to just leave me an emoji to let me know that you were here, leave me a music emoji, some sort of musical emoji, because he is a maestro, and that was the last book I talked about. But if you are new here and enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. If you're new, I would love for you to stick around. My social media is linked down below as always, my Goodreads and my Instagram. If you would like to stay, you know, more up to date and just behind the scenes of what I'm reading, because I post on there a whole lot more than just weekly like I do here on YouTube. But I hope you all are having a great day or evening, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.